Some extra added bonus material. No, it's not the woman's hat. It's just a unisex hat, kind of like our bathrooms are all now. Unisex hat.
It's nice. I notice you're wearing a scarf inside. Are you delicate at the moment, or are
No,
you?
I'm freezing my. Oh, hang on. Give me a second.
Check the age limit on this. Is it 18 plus? And then you could say the word you were going to say.
There we go. I'm sorry, I had to turn off the. You got to run a live stream at the same. You actually have to run the regular video to see if any super chats came in. Anyway, no, it is a unisex hat. And the reason I have my scarf is because it's freaking cold in Minnesota.
And you don't have heat?
No, I got heat. The heater's on, but I got to turn the heat off. Otherwise, it might affect the audio. I'm really trying to boost the quality of the audio visual.
I like the stand you got for your Yeti mic, because I got a Yeti mic, but I didn't know you could get a stand for it. Or is that a job you rigged up? Is that like an old? Hang on, is that like an old 1970s lamp?
No. It actually screws in. It's specifically designed to be a mic boom. Okay. And it's small little. This is, I think, $7 or $8. I got it through the Great Ones Amazon affiliate program. All right. And the reason I got this boom is because if I had the Yeti mic on the stand that came with it, there would be echo off of the desk and the computer screen. And so when you get a microphone boom, you could bring it, hang on, let me adjust this. You can bring it closer to your mouth, which means you could turn the gain way down so you don't get any background noise. You don't get people. So it's small little shit like that I should have picked up when I was in radio, but I had a producer doing all that. They have a sound guy that does all this. But small things, like it's not technology based. Like you could buy the greatest mic ever, but simple stuff like this mic boom, moving it away from a screen or any kind of hard surface that would get an echo.
I know, because I got the same mic, so I got the Yeti as well. So that's interesting.
Your audio is fine, but you could just hear a twinge of echo.
A twinge.
But it's like the enemy of good is perfect. So you could always, like, oh, I really increased the audio quality, and then I'll listen to it like, there's something else I could. It's
like a never-ending journey.
Never-ending journey. And you ever listen to Coach Red Pill?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't listen to anyone. I'm a writing kind of guy for the most part. So I read lots. And then if someone says, oh, you've really got to listen to this particular podcast, then I'll claw my way through it. Mm-hmm. I do watch your videos, but just sitting and listening, I can't do it because I always have to be doing something else, and then I can't concentrate and it all goes to shit. Oh. So Coach Red Pill, no, I haven't.
Well, anyway, he's got a good show, good podcast. He doesn't pay me or anything, but you want to talk about an arms race and how your cost goes exponentially up if you want to eke out that extra 0.5% of quality. His Patreon is solely dedicated to getting a new camera. I'm looking at the guy's audio visual quality. I'm like, what the fuck do you need a new camera? Like, what the hell are you going to produce that's better than this? And I think the camera's like $4,000. Then you got to get a new computer rig to process that level of quality video. And so I'm kind of happy.
This is why I've never gone video, because I know I can't turn on the camera right now because I don't even have one. So no one gets to see what I look like.
I thought you also wanted to remain anonymous too.
No, I'm just a cheap fuck. But I know if I start going down the visual line, you got to get the lighting right. Mm-hmm. You've got to get, there's just so much. It's just like I can't do it.
The rule is it's good enough for the girls we date. That's the rule my buddy and I always use. Like we'd be sheetrocking and budding and taping. We look at it's good enough for the girls we date. And I got right over here, I got a $5 lamp that I got at Walmart, I think. Because you can go into Best Buy or the electronics store. You can go on the internet and like, oh, I need lighting for video camera. Well, they have the video camera lighting and it's LED and it's $70 on the cheap. You're like, how different is the electromagnetic radiation from that light versus the $5 lamp over at Walmart? Yeah. And it isn't. There really is. I'm sure there is on some level. There's a different hue or something is different about that light. But for $5 and for the girls I date, and for the assholes out there in the audience, this is good enough. I mean, I throw on that light. I got this audio, but it's fine. It's fine. It's
Now I've got to ask you one more question before we get going, because it's a little bit out of focus. But what does the sign on the wall behind you say? I think I can work out a rude word on it. Something smoke detector.
Yeah. When Chad and I were doing one of the podcasts, one of the guys in the audience, he actually paid a super chat. He says, Clary, is there supposed to be a fucking smoke detector there? And I said, yeah. And then he wanted to know why. And he paid. I'm like, okay, yeah. You give a super chat. I'll go ahead and answer your question. I say, well, we got a wood burning stove downstairs.
Of course.
And when the smoke, you light it, there's a little bit.
Say no more. Say no more.
So we have one in another part of the house. Then in case the house actually catches fire, then
I thought it was a note that you'd left up for the other half for her to buy something or something.
No. I am the house husband. I take care of dishes and house things and repairs. But to mock and ridicule the fan, he's like, oh, so do you put it back up in spring? I'm like, oh fuck no, there hasn't been a smoke detector there in years. I haven't, because I'm a lazy. But then I did get up and make that nice sign for him. In case
that's nice. And now it's always there to remind him of his the error of his ways. I like it.
It's these caring, gentle touches we do at Asshole Consulting that tells our audience, hey, fuck you. And that's how we share the love.
I love it. That's great. Now, are we gonna? Do you have some? This is an experiment, and you did it with who did you do it with? Yeah, okay, the other night. So you're basically gonna farm out your asshole consulting requests and get another person's perspective on it, which I think is a smart thing to do.
No, it has nothing to do with being that smart, wise, or noble. What it boils down to is I won't mention where, but I have bought some advertising through a very popular source, and I am forecasting or anticipating a rather large deluge of asshole consulting requests coming in. Right. And I need to train up other asshole consultants. So
this is a job interview. I've just done a 14-hour day.
Yeah, no, this is just, Mr. Piggott, how much of an asshole would you say you are?
Well, I can sing the song. I'm an asshole.
No, so I wanted to and it was weird. It didn't make any sense. This is not okay in my mind. This is not a hard job.
Yeah.
This isn't a fucking job. This is, I wake up, half the time I'm still in my skivvies and my pajamas. I get my coffee. Hey, fuck her. Oh, Bob from Pasadena writes, oh, my wife is getting fat. What do I do? Well, dump her bitch ass. That's basically what it is. And so when I've approached different people because of this coming up, and, I would like to expand. I'm like, hey, do you think what? I mean, you're asking them of hey, do you want to go storm the beaches of Normandy, with a toothpick? And they're like, oh, I don't know if I can. I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you not see the shtick? Do you not see it's not that hard? And so
I think there's a lot of pressure here. I mean, I've got a bottle of scotch here. My hands are trembling. Really, people are worried about it. I'll just fire off the first thing that comes to my head. Well, it's your first reaction is normally the best one anyway. That's all.
Right. And the other thing, and I'm not just picking random people. I'm picking guys and gals who have a little bit of life experience, because that's really what people are seeking. So as much as I like the guy, TJ Martinell, still too young. You also know what else? What? Way too nice. Way too nice a guy. You need that edge. You need that pissed off, angry old man kind of thing.
Yeah. I got that in spades after the day I've had today.
Yeah. Well, see, there's you, a buddy of mine, Vince, Marine, former Chicago police.
Okay. So he hates everybody.
He hates everyone. Right. Yeah. So that's the kind of,
people accuse me of being a misogynist, women mostly, and I say, why do you think I'm restricting my hate to half of the human population? That's aiming a bit low, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyone who's lived long enough to be a misanthrope, okay, you're qualified, and you're also, and if you've ran into enough douchebags and assholes in the world, then you have enough experience to give because that's the truth. You really want a simple asshole consulting down or any kind of old man wisdom. It's most people are out to fuck you over. Here's how you prevent that. And when you really boil it down, that's like 90% of the advice that we give out, although albeit tailored to an individual specific situation.
I get the same sort of questions via email that you get on household consulting. I get probably about 2 or 3 a week as well.
You charge for them?
Nah, I just fire off a response, and I just haven't set anything up. You're going to love this. We did the Great One and I recorded the Greasy Poll on Sunday, and it's coming out in a week. It's coming out next Sunday, but we finished it off because I reviewed Vox Day's book on Jordan Peterson, and we got talking about Jordan Peterson 12 Rules for Life, and we came up.
Wait, hold it. Before Vox Day wrote a book on Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, it's called Jordanetics, Inside the Mind of Humanity's Greatest Thinker.
Oh. Was it a spoof or what?
No. He takes him to pieces. It's brilliant.
Really?
Yeah, rips him a new one. But anyway, we came up at the end of our podcast episode. We came up with what would Cappy's 12 rules for life be? And he got 6 and I got 6. We alternated one each. So look out for that on Sunday when that comes out.
I got to think about what would my 12 rules for life be.
You can't.
Fuck you. Fuck them. Fuck that. Fuck everyone. I'll figure it out. But
I think you might be amused by some of the ones that we came out with. Yeah. I think you might be amused.
I will look forward to. I'm glad that you guys came out with one. I know everyone's had their reasons and everyone's had other issues going on, but I really
great. The Great One's just been busy. He's been shooting me down. So
he shot me down. He was going to be one of those asshole consulting trainees.
Yeah.
And he said negatory, Captain. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, oh, dang. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad when you get shot down by the Great One, you know? He gets shot down by all these girls and he refuses you. You're like, oh, shit.
Wow. Yeah. The Great One and his feminist bipolar.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I gave him a lot of shit. A lot of shit was given. Anyway. So what do we got?
Well, we better get going because you got a time limit, right? You got to get out of here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. I'll explain it to you and explain it to everybody else. Basically, in anticipation of this deluge of potential asshole consult, we're going to get people in, special guests, internet celebrity special guest specialists, such as yourself, Adam.
I don't think I can class myself as an internet celebrity, but I'll go with it.
And what we're going to do is we'll just field these questions. And then what I also found out is for whatever reason, experimentation is great because Chad and I made bank yesterday, made like $120 on super chats. So this format seems to be working well. Michael writes, Dear Cappy, please keep me anonymous. I'd like a video request regarding your thoughts on 2 things, being a right-wing person in a blue state, and 2, how to deal with old school conservatives. Let me explain. Item 1, having controversial right-wing opinions like we should restrict immigration and giving children puberty-blocking drugs. I love how that's controversial. That's considered controversial.
It's unbelievable.
We should restrict immigration and giving children puberty-blocking drugs because they say they're trans has cost me a lot of friendships living in a blue state, not to mention being a Trump supporter. I'm learning to accept that most people are idiotic sheep and half the population is parasitic, etc. Would love additional commentary. Let's just start with this one before we go into question 2 because it's a little bit more involved.
Sure. Do you want me to go first? Or
Yeah, go ahead. I don't want to I want to see your natural asshole consulting ability.
Does he say which blue state it is?
No, he let me double check. Are
we assuming something like California or New York?
I would say with the blue state, we could assume California, New York, or Oregon, or Colorado. I don't think it really varies or differs. I think what would be more germane is like what town is he in?
Yeah.
But I'm just going to assume he's younger, younger-ish. He's in his 20s.
Okay.
And I'm going to say it's more of a function of his age group than it is necessarily the geographic location he's in, though I'm sure the state and local politics do play a factor.
Yeah. All right, so my initial reaction is move. And that's coming from someone who's moved around a lot in his life. You'd be surprised how well it works out. If your friends are dumping you because you won't believe in crazy things, I don't think the friends are really worth it in the first place. And it sounds like you're only going to find more of the same. Also, with immigration, and as he specifically brought it up, the fact of the mass movement of people into the United States the last 70 years is unprecedented in human history. I don't discount the very strong possibility of future civil war in the United States in the next 20 years. And if you're a conservative in a blue state, that won't be a good thing. And just look up the Spanish Civil War and see what happened to every Republican who was on the wrong side and vice versa. When the finally went down, they all got marched into the town squares and shot around the country, everywhere. So honestly, if it's already causing you that many problems now in your life, do you think it's going to get any better? Do you think it's going to get any better? The crazy stuff that they're asking you to believe in now, especially stuff like, giving kids hormone blocking drugs, which is beyond child abuse. Do you think it's going to get any better than this in the next 5 years, considering how much it's ramped up in the last 5 years? Or do you think it's just going to get worse and worse? I'd move, without a doubt. I think it's a no-brainer, actually.
No, I would, in addition to moving, but I've always had that standard policy of moving. What I would say is, like, with friends like this, who needs enemies? I mean,
with friends like this, they're probably going to end up your enemies if you stay there.
Well, there's so many things to say about one. At your age, you're not going to keep these friends. Okay. Two, this is why I don't have leftist friends. Every great once in a while, I will have a genuine Democrat who actually cares about their fellow man and thinks that we have an obligation. But your modern day Democrats are leftists, let's just have unrestricted immigration. So they're dumb and they don't have any self-respect or concept of sovereignty. And then when you're saying, hey, we shouldn't give children puberty blocking drugs, and they're saying, how dare you? You're dealing with people that are mentally ill and if not evil. These are despicable people. And forget politics. How about just morality? Why would you have these friends? So these friends are not going to be sticking around long term. Besides which, you lose most of your friends anyway in your high school in 20 years. And you have maybe a handful of friends that you hang out with down the road. And I understand every 20-something's an idiotic leftist. I get it, because that's the way all you independent-minded people have been brainwashed to believe. But I would not have friends this dumb. I would not have because how can you have a conversation? How can you bond? How can you have a friendship? How can you have camaraderie form with somebody this naive, this stupid, and this non-thinker? It's a mind that I wouldn't want to waste any time with.
It's interesting that you should say you've got a couple of lefty friends. I've still got a couple of lefty friends going back 25 years, and the friendship's still there. But it's interesting their behaviour on social media, like Facebook, because they're constantly putting up political barrages. It's never ending. It's like them getting a cup of coffee in the morning. They'll pontificate on whatever lefty cause of the day is, assuming that everyone else that they're friends with has the same thoughts. None of my right-wing friends do this. None. It's completely and solely attributable to lefties, and I think it's something in their brains that's wrong. I don't know.
Well, they got nothing else usually. That's what I found with the left is all they have is their politics. And I'm sure at 20-something years old, you don't have a career, you got a ton of debt. I mean, there's nothing else to point to what your teachers and professors told you, gave you. I'm an environmentalist or whatever. I'm for vagina or whatever.
Yeah.
I can see that, but
then they never grow up.
No, they never do. Not in that sense. No,
they never grow up in any sense. So honestly, I'd be getting out of Dodge, and your 20s is the best time to do that.
Yeah, I would, definitely move if you're in a blue state for economic reasons. I mean, for career reasons, for sanity reasons. But going forward, here's the problem. He could escape to a red state. Let's say it goes to Texas. Well, if he goes to any place where there's a vibrant young community, that's going to be liberal and socialist too. I would even say insane, where it's like I mean, honest to God, it's just like putting a carrot in front of a donkey. And even that doesn't show the level of excitement. It's like putting raw meat in front of a pack of lions. You give these young people any new, edgy kind of leftist cause, they'll get excited about it. Because I mean, really, stand back and look, take politics out of it. Look at the concept of giving a 10-year-old or 11-year-old child puberty blocking drugs and saying, yeah, you might be trans or you might be gay. A kid doesn't even, girls are still icky at that age. Look at that. But anyone with a soul would say that's wrong.
It's a sin.
But
I'm not even religious. It's a gold-plated sin.
It's vile. It's vile behavior. But they're so excited to be edgy and show that they're for this cause and they're down with that cause, an ego investment to show, look how good. I mean, a vile, disgusting form of virtue signaling because they got to prove their social worth and all that they'll ruin a kid's life and fuck that kid up forever. I don't think he's going to really escape that with his generation. I really don't. So,
well, I know. I mean, I think he will because he's an example himself. He's from the same generation, isn't he? Right. So there's at least one based on his video request. I think you can find it, but you've got to go to the right states and you've got to go to the right jobs. You got to go to the right professions. I mean, I work in offshore oil and gas, and let me tell you.
Not a lot of soy boys there.
Not a lot of soy boys there, Cappy. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. Not a lot of
press their own weight.
Not a lot of beards.
God.
So I mean, and before that was whitewater rafting. And back in the day, whitewater rafting was very right wing. Now it's total lefty.
Well, there's that whole environmentalist like REI, Subaru driving.
Completely converged, mate. It's unbearable.
Sierra Club types that get in there.
Dude.
Those are the leftists that I can't. You can't give the rate because there are occasionally some ripped male leftists, and that's the group that they fall into. Every great once in a while you find one, so you can't dismiss them like, oh, I could kick your ass, you little soy boy pussy, and they're like, oh shit, I can't kick his ass. Well, you're still wrong on economic principles, but that argument's almost moot with them. But yeah, I can't. I remember going up to Glacier National Park, and there were whitewater rafters there. I ran into a group of them at a bar, and it was a grand old time. And yeah, those are guys you'd want on your side during a fight at a bar. Yeah. You want those guys on your side. But, But so yeah, I would get rid of your friend. Yeah, those aren't friends. I don't know what you would call those. I could not hang out with friends that are like, yeah, fuck my nation, I hate my country, and hey, let's give children trans endorsing drugs. You go shoot, be alone. be a hermit if those are your choices.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who needs? I mean, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. And then one final thing I'll say on this, don't mention you're a Trump supporter. Don't even bother at your age. Don't even bother mentioning you're a Republican. Say you're libertarian. That'll get you occasionally a cool chick every once in a while. But for your social, I'd say more sexual and dating life, don't even bring politics in at parties. Don't even mention it. Every once in a while there'll be a tell. Like I remember when I was in my 20s, there are two guys that everyone was a Democrat at this house that we'd hang out with. Of course, everyone, except for two guys who know said, yeah, you know something, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm right. But it was the cool kids. It was the clandestine behind the scenes operators. They'll secretly give you the tell or the secret handshake. Like, yeah, these guys,
all you got to do when they're all pontificating and agreeing with each other is to stay silent and not agree. Don't disagree, but don't agree. That drives them mad, by the way.
All right. Item 2. I also have trouble relating to really old school boomer evangelical conservatives like my mother and stepfather. And I'm curious as to your thoughts on that crowd. I try to find common ground as right wingers, but it really doesn't work. They're not on the Trump train and they're boomers, not to mention being uber religious. So this one kind of confused me a bit. And I wrote to him, I say, well, I understand the first group being a young man in a blue leftist state, but could you expand on the boomer tradcons a bit and why you don't get along with them? Or what is it about them that you don't like? Try to narrow it down for me, because most of the boomers I run into are aged hippies or truly milky toast when it comes to politics. He says, my basic problem with them is how naive and uninformed they are. They're old school fundamentalist Christians. So for them, everything is moralized with this very simple Sunday school morality, and they have no concept of history, science, etc. Think Orange Man bad. They have a huge problem with Trump because of lack of integrity, blah, 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 coupled with evolution is just a theory and you need Jesus, blah, blah, blah. I make an effort to avoid touchy religious subjects with them, and indeed, they're usually the ones who bring it up. I try to find a common ground on politics, but I'm more like you, and they have this boomer help everyone and the third world way of looking at things. So my forceful condemnations of parasitism don't really go over very well. I'm learning to accept that I probably just need to keep them at arm's length and not expect common ground. Still, there's this possibly naive and dumb part of me that wishes we could have good, meaningful conversations without it causing stupid drama. I hope this makes sense. Trying to be brief. Happy to. Okay, so what do you think there, rookie asshole consultant?
All right, let's leave the religious part out of it. Okay, let's.
Dang it, that's where I was going to go. Okay.
Let's leave the religious part out of it, because I think that's a separate thing. As a Generation Xer, 1971, I despise the boomer generation so much. They are the most narcissistic, selfish generation that's ever walked the face of the planet. They've had everything given to them and then taken everything they could at the same time. Everything is always about them. The reason that they know nothing, as he says, about the world or blah, 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 is because they have no interest in it, because it doesn't pertain to them. They are the most despicable generation of all time. Jesus Christ. I mean, they even talked about, I read somewhere on the internet the other day, they spoke about making 70 the new sexy, and then they actually went and tried to do it. I mean, it's just beyond belief. I was having a discussion with my father, who's not a boomer. He was born before that time. And we were talking about the professional world, how they fucked it. Because the boomers, basically, as they've progressed along the professional chain, once they exit a certain job level, they destroy it. They farm it out to HB1 visas or whatever the case may be. And they've literally salted the ground behind them so that no one can follow them. Out to consultants. We'll just get consultants in now and we'll fire everyone on that bit. And moving up the ladder, that's all they've done, all the whole way through professional life. And my father's an engineer and a civil engineer, and he was just describing what they've done. They don't mentor. He said,
Christ, no. I swear to God, there's a piece of me that wants to work in a nursing home when the boomers go in. And when they say, I need this, I say, steep learning curve, hit the ground running. I don't have time to train you. I mean, you have every right. Now you'll land in jail. But as far as I'm concerned, if any boss, especially a baby boomer boss, says, I don't have time to train you, I can't hold your hand, steep learning curve, must hit the ground running, you have every right to punch him right in the fucking face. Yeah. Every right.
Absolutely. It's like the baby boomer parents who never trained their boys to have any practical skills around the house, mechanical or plumbing or anything like that, and then mocked the same children for not having those skills. You know what I mean? That's what their behavior was. So they won't train you, and they won't teach their kids on how to look after the family car. And then when the kid gets the first car, the baby boomer parents mock them for not having the skills required that they never taught them in the first place.
I'm surprised even some of the baby boomers have said skills. I've found them not to have them. I mean, unless you're a dedicated mechanic, I don't know a lot of boomers that, shoot, I do more house maintenance and carpentry and auto mechanics than computer stuff than most boomers do. But that's because of fucking YouTube. That's what taught me. That's why I learned to do it.
You didn't get it from your, right, exactly, and the lack of mentorship just goes to show how, and the way you reacted to that, Cappy, just goes to show how narcissistic and selfish they are. So I think this guy's reaction is perfectly natural. He sounds like a good guy. and you're never going to have meaningful relationships with people who only think about themselves. So stop trying to do it. So stop pushing shit uphill. Actually, this came up recently because my now soon-to-be ex-wife's parents are firmly in the boomer generation, and she's been trying for years to have a deep relationship with them. And I eventually managed to make her realize that you can't have a deep relationship with someone whose, integrity is about as deep as a kiddie's wading pool. This is not going to happen. So stop trying. Just stop trying. And by the way, when you stop trying, you might be surprised that suddenly they start trying to make it happen themselves.
Oh God, it's amazing when that not just parents, but like anyone in general.
It's like, don't chase the girl, just stop and she'll chase you.
So your general take on this is it's more of a function of their generation and their upbringing, for lack of intellectual integrity, laziness to sit and think about evolution and the meaning of life, blah, blah, blah. And Christianity is just a byproduct of it. You're not going to the religion. You're saying it's because of their generation, the way they were raised, and they have no intellectual honesty.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But don't forget, the church has, in the same time, been completely converged by the same generation. It's been completely fucked up.
Are you saying female pastors are not an indication that Christ may be are you saying that when they hang out the gay pride flag, that maybe that may be a dead branch of Christianity?
The welcome refugee banner?
Yeah, are you sure that?
Just float that one out there.
Did I ever, this is almost 20 years ago, if not more than 20 years ago. Did I ever tell you about the church that would do the baptism of the pets?
Oh my Lord.
Really? Oh God. Yeah. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's highlight these fuckers. Now keep in mind, I don't know if that church is there anymore. It was on Hennepin Avenue Church, Hennepin Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota. They'd have the baptism of the pets like maybe even like 3 times a year. Let me take a look.
3 times a year. There was that much. Well, every woman over the age of 45 is a cat lady now, so I can understand.
Here it is. Hennepin Avenue United Methodist Church. Nice big church, by the way. Beautiful architecture. Nothing wrong with it. But you drive. Oh no, wait. I take it back. I'm sorry. Here it is. It was St. Mark's Episcopal Cathedral. I think that. Wait a minute. There's the thing. There's the basilica. Yeah, it was St. Mark's Episcopal Cathedral. I take that back. Right next door. So
they had competition, and this was their way of standing out from the herd.
I'll see your baptism of the animals, and I'll raise you a lesbian transsexual pastor. Top that, you fucker. Oh yeah, well, I'll see your lesbian transsexual pastor, and I'll let little kids be diddled in the pews. All right, yeah.
Oh well, I'll see your little kiddies be diddled in the pews, and I'll get a Islamic Muslim cleric to come and say mass in our church.
Yes, there you go.
There we go.
That actually might introduce some traditionalism, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
My complaints about Islam aside, they do at least stick to their guns, both figuratively and literally.
Yes, there is that.
Anyway, I will not disagree, but I will diagnose differently because I think what you say is correct. I think there would be some elements of that playing into this kid's parents, but I think it's squarely the reason he's not able to have a conversation is because they're fundamentalist Christians. Coming from such a background, when you have, it's a cult, it's indoctrination. There's no independent thought. You either think this or you're going to hell. Mm-hmm. And you could debate whether they actually believe it or if they're afraid of hell or if they have nothing else to believe in life. But they could be, it explains all the phenomena that you're seeing here. They vote Republican, or at least they're conservative in some ways. But when it comes to immigration or the age of the earth or evolution or anything like that, they immediately go to the script and point to Jesus. And where that would tie into what Adam was saying is there is a laziness there on the part of these fundamentalist Christians. They don't want to think. They don't want to have integrity to their life or their religious philosophy. The answer is always Jesus, and that excuses them from spending millions of calories of energy of, think about it. If you have to form a religious or a political or a life philosophy, that is a lifelong toil and effort of thought. A lot of energy goes into that. Well, if you're just a lazy, no good fuck, and you just want to have it outsourced and taken care of it for you, you subscribe to an ism. It could be socialism or feminism, but in this case, it's religion. And it's like, oh, yep, Jesus. Oh, it says right there. It says, I don't have to think. I don't have to think. So I think that's really more what you're running into, regardless of the cause or the reason. I don't think you're not you. They're not capable of having a good, engaging conversation. They're just not capable of it. Either because they truly believe in the man in the clouds in the sky and the earth is only 5,000 years old, or they really don't believe it, but they are so dependent upon it as a psychological crutch. They're not going to have that kicked out from underneath them. In either case, you're not going to have a deep philosophical talk about politics, about religion, about the functionality of the third, having third world immigrants come in. You're not going to have a sober, realistic analysis or conversation about pretty much any topic that's controversial. You're just not, because they already have their scripted answers. So it really is sad, but you pat them on the head, say, okay, yeah, yep, Jesus will save, the Lord has a plan, whatever. And then you talk about the football game, or you talk about a cousin Sue or whatever. But your folks are not, I mean, especially at this age, if they're baby boomers, they're not going to change. I mean, it's pretty much cemented. What do you think at the age of 60, whatever? They're going, hey, you know something? You're right, kid. I was wrong all these past 6 decades, and you've made me think things. They're so cemented by that time. You're not going to change their minds.
No.
Yep. I forgot to be taking timestamps. God bleep it. Well, timestamps. Like when I hit record, what I really ought to do is have a stopwatch here, so that I could say, because what I do is I then send this video link to the clients and say, your question starts here at 32 minutes and 27 seconds. And then the next, we did that the first one. I forgot to do that.
I think it was about 10 past the hour that we started.
10 past the hour. All right. But yeah, when did we start? I'll have to sift through it. It's my fault. So, all right. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
This is a short question, but it's going to be pretty deep. Hello, Captain. I'm contacting you from the future, and we need your help. The fighting is now over. The shaft of society has been burned away by the fires of war. The only memories of your era reside in the tales of the soon-to-die-out Gen Z. All that remain are strong men, and we are on the dawn of good times. My question for you is this: how could we maintain a prosperous society without allowing ourselves to become spoiled/pussified again, while at the same time not becoming too authoritarian? Is such societal maintenance even the job of the government? How would you go about setting up a society nation from scratch? Thank you, Alan. So that's it. That's all he's asking.
You obviously saved the easy questions for me tonight.
Hey, there was some I got to do on my own where I'm like, okay, we're not going to have time for this, or it's too obscure. I actually did, so don't feel compelled to get the correct answer right away. I've got
an answer for this one. So the Mongols, the Asian hordes that came down and terrorized, Eastern
everyone.
Everyone. They had a specific philosophy to avoid exactly the problem that your client is asking, because basically the way traditionally it was, you had the town in the valley and the barbarians on the hills, right? So the barbarians would come down from the hills and conquer the town in the valley, but then the barbarians would become soft in the town in the valley, and then they would become conquered themselves, and thus the cycle would repeat. Mm-hmm. And the Mongols got around this problem by never staying in the valley. They just continuously went on the attack, and until they burnt out, which was when the great Genghis Khan stubbed his toe and died of whatever he died of. So that is the only civilization in history that hasn't gone soft.
So we have to constantly be warring and raping and pillaging.
You constantly have to be Conan the Barbarian. That's the and I only this is an interesting coincidence because I only read that today.
Really?
So there we go. I've got that fresh on my brain for him. You cannot avoid the generations after you becoming soft. We've just been talking about the baby boomers. Their parents went through the Great Depression and the Second World War. Okay. And their parents before them had gone through the First World War. And look how their kids turned out. The baby boomers, you know. And they gave them everything. We had such a horrible time. We're going to give our kids everything. Maybe that's the secret. You know, you've got to have some sort of religion where, you know, the kids are not given everything. Also, for fuck's sake, whatever you do, don't put the chicks in charge.
Oh God!
Don't even give them the vote.
Right? I have something solving that issue right there because I'm a little bit more meritocratic than that. But yeah. Did you have any other thoughts aside from let's all go be Mongols and war and rape and pillage and live in huts?
I mean, his question is how can you not go soft? That's the question. How can you not go soft? And the only culture in the world that has succeeded in doing that were the Mongols. And they eventually burnt out as well. Yeah, because you needed a great leader to be able to keep the tribes, all the different tribes together and keep it going. Apart from that, then you have to form some sort of religion that's going to keep everything in a static location, and everyone's got their place, a la Islam. Just as you were talking about before, you know, if you want to keep everyone in line, which is what he's saying, well then, you know, you better come up with a good religion.
I think what he's trying to do is how do we break the cycle of hard times create strong or good men create good times create weak men create bad times. And how do we avoid that cycle? To answer that question, and then he even has it here, let me read it more specifically. Is such societal maintenance even the job of the government, while at the same time not becoming too authoritarian? I don't think it's possible what he's asking, because you're asking a population of 7 billion people, even if it dropped down to 1 billion, whatever, you're asking humans to all get on the same game plan. And even when you got religion, they're not all on the same plan.
It'll either be the job of the government or religion. It's one of
it should be the job of the government, but if you want to get into the realm of social engineering and social experimentation and what policies could the government place in, and us not, like, ideally we would have a civilized society where we would have constantly strong and good men in good times, and we would not be roaming the world, raping and pillaging and Mongoling in teepees and huts and shooting arrows from horseback. We would like to have video games and somewhat of a civilized society that wasn't simply on the war path. The short version, I got my notes here, is you can't spoil your children. Like I always said, that if I ever made millions, my children, and I ever had children, neither of which have come true, I would never tell my kids I had money. I would act like we were poor. We would live like we were poor. We would be poor. I would just have a shit ton of cash stored up. And I would make my kids work and survive. And I would make them realize what it takes to support themselves, self-supportation. I get a kick out of these kids. Yeah, and it was even back in my day. I pay my way through college, and I look, yeah, but that car's brand new. Your dad pays for it. You get free car insurance. You get your phone paid for. They give you money for food. You're not an independent person just because you pay for tuition. You would have to force kids, young men and women, to be self-supporting adults, and to also fool them or get them to think there's no one coming to save you. There's no parental money. There's no trust fund. My dad is poor. So to put up this facade is impossible. Countrywide, nationwide, statewide, citywide, family-wide even. You can't do that. But for academic or theoretical, intellectual theorizing sake, just a couple things. One, you must pay taxes to vote. You cannot collect a government check either because you're you're a government employee. The only place I'd allow you to collect a government check is if you're a cop, firefighter, or military. But otherwise, if you are collecting a government check either from work or because of welfare or whatever, or even Social Security, all right. If you're not paying taxes, you're not getting the right to vote. That'd be one thing.
No welfare.
Well, that'd be another thing. Then there would also be no welfare. You are forced. You sink or swim.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
Like there has to be perpetual bad times. Otherwise people don't learn. That's harsh and cruel. No, what's harsh and cruel is perpetually bailing people out. So people are unfortunately living in this tent city now in the Twin Cities where they've never actually had to face that harsh reality of starvation and thirst. And now effectively are doing that, but we just keep them alive long enough so that they live miserable existences and maybe breed other unfortunate children to live the exact same miserable existences. Never enough, though, to say, my God, I will die if I don't get a job and work. That fear of God put into them. So that'd be one thing. I would limit time in public office and the public sector. You would only be allowed to work a decade in the public sector, and you would only allowed to be serving in public office for 12 years. I don't care if you start as dog catcher and end as president, you get 12 years. Then you can never work in the public sector, and you can never be in public office ever again. I mean, like term limits forever. Not like, oh, I'll be mayor, then I'll be senator, then I'll be governor. And nope. All you fuckers are working in the private sector. You are producing something of fucking value. So that would force people to produce something of value. I would do mandatory military service.
I was just about to say that. That was the one that was on that. I was waiting for you to stop so I could say that one. Yeah.
Being a libertarian, I understand there are many pacifists out there. It's like, okay, but I can understand it. Maybe you don't want to be a frontline troop or whatever. All right, but you're going to go and you're going to spend time in the military. You're going to appreciate the sovereignty of this nation. You're going to help defend it. And if you don't like that, well, then we can drop you off in Sweden where they don't care about their own sovereignty. Or you could say, you can think you're being patriotic by not being patriotic. Okay, that's somewhere else. But there'd be some kind of maybe military, but certainly military, but a quasi-military service. Like, no, you're going to put in your dues. We'll give you training. Maybe you could put some education in there as well. But you are going to do mandatory military service. I would have I'd have a constitutional amendment where the government, state, federal, and local combined, cannot spend or tax more than 10% GDP. Again, the government is not involved in this shit. We do your roads, your military, some regulatory judicial system, and cops and firefighters. That's it. Banning government charity and welfare programs. The only charity would be private. And then also, I know this is not democratic, but I don't care. Parties.
No fault-free divorce.
Oh, okay. See, with the government, it would be out of divorce. We wouldn't care.
No, I'm saying is, but you couldn't. So it's back on the. So marriage has to be. You've got to get traditional families back on the. You've got to create a stable environment for those kids.
You take away the government welfare programs, families will start to form again.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't. I don't think it's the government's business to stick its nose. Are you married? Are you not married? I mean, it's not my business. Go, do. I don't care if you have 40 wives or 40 husbands. I don't give a shit. It's not our business. Do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't come to us when you spit out 60 kids with your 30 wives and expect us to take care of it.
This is what I'm going to disagree with you. The do whatever the fuck you want, but live with the consequences actually goes against all human nature. Because if you give people the ability to do whatever the fuck they want, the majority of them will not want to live with the consequences.
But too bad.
That's what we have now. But that's what we have now.
No. That's because we pay for it.
Well, then you get crime. You get massive crime.
Well, I guess we get a little bit more of a police force then, don't we?
Yeah.
See, right now we simply throw more bread on mold, hoping that the mold will go away, that the bread will solve the mold. All we do is we create more mold. Imagine how many kids would not have been born if welfare collecting mom Sue, after her first illegitimate kid at 16, didn't get any money. Imagine, like, oh my God, there is no money.
You're expecting this woman who's already made a very bad decision to learn from her mistake and not make the same mistake again.
Yes.
Obviously, you're hanging out with different human beings than I am.
Well, but here's the other thing. And if she doesn't learn from her mistake, guess what happens?
I can't guess.
Well, she's not going to breed as much. 2, she might die. Not at my hand, at her own hand. She made a stupid mistake. 3, the kids are going to grow up so destitute and poor, they're going to maybe learn not to be like mom.
It just sounds like 19th century England, you know.
Well, I don't. It's not my. But see, people think that I'm being so mean and evil. I'm like, let people starve. No. It's not my fault. I didn't spit out more kids than I could afford.
I'm not disagreeing with you then. I'm just as mean as you are. But I'm just saying, if you get religion involved in traditional family unit and communities, and shame. Yeah. Shame is a very important thing.
It's more important than love, I'd say, in today's society.
Yeah. And so the thing is, if you want to go for shame, which is so important, you can't go for, on the same time, do whatever the fuck you want, just don't bother me with it. Yeah.
I'm talking from the government policy, like as a government.
That's fine. But as a community, you know.
Oh, as a community, different, completely different. Yes.
Yeah. I think, you know, so you can't say do whatever the fuck you want. You've still got to have that sense of responsibility, social capital,
which you owe to your community and your family. Like, let's say I was a father and my daughter came back. It's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, you're getting a fucking abortion. You're having your tubes tied. And if you don't like that, there's the fucking street. Because I would be so pissed. Because one, I would have raised my daughter better. So she would have been in flagrant violation of what I told her to do and not do. And it would be disrespectful to me where I'm like, and now I'm like, I'm not paying for you, damn kid. I busted my ass. Now you live with the consequences.
Well, see, that goes against my second thing. So I was going to say no fault-free divorce and no abortion. So
well, again, very libertarian. I don't care if you have an abortion. You go to now, of course, I'm switching the roles. I'm actually, I know this is going to sound horrible, but I'm actually pro-abortion because I think some kids, you think that all child life is sacred. And in a certain philosophical sense, yes, it is. But if you're going to bring them into a shithole family, it's like, well, that's just torture. You know, it's like, just do a mercy killing for God's sake. But that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
But I do believe people in general facing the full cost and pain and consequences of their bad decisions would therefore bring in the micro or individualistic hard times, and they would learn. And we would stop having this roller coaster ride of boom bust where the good times roll and then we spoil a generation. Again, I think it's impossible. I think some of these government policies and laws and things I would put in there would help. But ultimately, it's going to boil down to the family to deprive their children of being spoiled. And that's why I think it falls, because shit, for fuck's sake, I even went to this Republican meeting one time, and here's, you know, the guy, I don't know, was golf ever big in Australia?
Oh, yeah.
Holland? It is? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had like Caddyshack level of elitist golf snobs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Imagine Judge Smalls from Caddyshack.
Mm-hmm.
That guy. Bye, Bushwood? You know, that guy.
Yeah.
So this guy with his fucking silver mane of hair, Mr. Republican, walking in, he's got his precious little daughter. And he's all about, let's save taxes. Come to find out, his daughter's getting some master's degree in some worthless liberal arts bullshit, and she's some leftist rank, socialist type. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, dude, fuck you. Just fuck you. Why are you even donating to the Republican Party when you raise someone to cancel your vote and you're just turning that person into a rank socialist parasite?
Was she hot?
She was all right. She wasn't.
Oh.
I wouldn't bang, but I mean,
you wouldn't kick her. You wouldn't kick her out of bed if she farted.
She would not get to my bed.
Oh, okay. She's not hot.
Yeah. I mean, even.
Can I say one more thing on this question?
You may, of course.
The question sounds like, look, the thing I've learned in life the hard way is you never arrive. Yeah. You don't get to a point where you're there, that it's all smooth sailing from this point, that it's all good. You know, it's always a continual process.
Correct. Let's put it this way. If that happened, we would cease being human. We'd be robots. We'd have an algorithm figured out, and soon we'd be like the Borg. It'd be very boring. Yes.
And that's essentially his question on a micro level. His question's the same. He wants the same thing on a macro level. It's so, of course, it's not, and
it's impossible. And thank God, because I mean, you know, I don't know about you, but life is pretty good for me right now. You know what happens after a bit? It gets boring as fuck. It's like, God damn it, you know, like
you've just caused all the gods to turn and look at you at the same time and point and go,
God damn it, I guess I'll get up and have some hot food again. I guess after 8 hours of regular sleep, I'll do this, and I'll work for, and then I'll play video games and hit the gym. And you know,
I say to people, I won the life lottery as far as I'm concerned. So white, male, heterosexual, smart, pretty good looking, able to think for myself, no diseases, healthy. I mean, born in a country like Australia.
Sure, with electricity and all that, right?
Yeah. Given an education, and then let loose on the world, free to make the decisions I want to do and live with the consequences. Holy shit, mate! That's the lottery as regards to biology.
And here's the other thing: you have visited Africa and third world countries where you can appreciate it even more on a whole new level.
Oh, dude, you go out there and you see little kids growing up, and you see that the parents are scrabbling in the dirt. You know that the kids are going to be scrabbling in the dirt. There's no way out. There's no way out, man, for those people. No way at all.
How much time do you have? I got a $75 one.
Can you just give me? I got something slow cooking on the stove. Give me 2 minutes.
Let's take a piss break. I gotta take a piss. All right. Oh, shit. Oh, you know what? Let's go to Super Chats. We can find them. Oh, Super Chats. Do we get any Super Chats? Oh, we got one. Oh, two. Oh, good old Nick is in town. I got to make sure we didn't. Someone's deleting all the porn. What? No. All messages are top chat. Some messages, such as potential spam, may not be visible. Live chat. All messages are visible. All right. I want to see all the messages. Damn it. Where'd the other... There's two super chats. God darn it. We just lost it. Top chat. There was Nick. Someone had a super chat for $5 and now I just lost it. How the heck do I go back? Nick writes, Nick Schulner, love the new AC format, asshole consulting format, Aaron. Keep it up. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I'm kind of liking it too, where we get special guest celebrities such as the famous Adam Piggott in here. Somebody had made a super chat before, and for some reason it's off my scroll. If you could please repost that in the chat room in capital letters so I could scroll and find it. That question. I would thank you. Do you know how super chats work?
No.
Basically in the chat room, I don't know if you have the actual video up and playing, but I have to have that up and playing, and then people can donate money if they have a specific question. But Google, in its infinite wisdom, decided that, we're only going to let you see so much of the chat room. So if there's too many posts, then you lose where someone had donated money because you can't scroll up anymore. So Fonnie Perry, our good friend out in London, because he donated British pounds, and Chad Elkins, the Masters in Finance graduate with a CPA, did not know what a pound sign was. He said, here's the super chat for $5 US. Jones said, here's a cigar and a beer on me. He said, oh, thanks, Fanny. Thank you. Or is it Fonnie? Whatever. He's a regular listener. So I don't know if $5 USD is going to get a beer and a cigar for us.
I just got a beer.
You just got a beer? Cool.
Yeah. I've just pressed on the chat, but all I see is I don't see anything. It's got commands and stuff like that.
You gotta no, that's our chat, like in the command prompt. If you actually pull up the video, like if you were to watch the video live as if you were viewing it,
I can see you.
Yeah, you could see me now. Yeah. And there should be off to the right a chat room. And people, go in there, and they curse and swear. But every once in a while, someone will make a super chat, which then gets highlighted in color. You should be able to see like Nick Schulander's super chat donation for $2. And usually the etiquette is that if someone spends a couple bucks or tosses you a couple bucks, you go ahead and you address their comment.
Oh, I need to get these comments up then. So how do I get the comments? What do I click on? Tell me what to click on.
No. It's not vital. I got it here. I just was being a little bit lackadaisical. I should have been on it a little bit more.
Camera, not the
Tactical Mall Cop posted it. What? Oh wait, you're Tactical Mall.
Hang on, maybe.
Yeah, I feel bad. Tactical Mall. I'm terribly sorry. Why don't you posted it again? Atham writes, "Hey, say hi to good old Piggott." See, he even got Atham, our Mexican agent in the field. He said hello to you.
Hello, man. Mexican agent in the field. Wish I could see. I said the last time we did this, the one that you deleted. I hate you for that. I could see the comments. I was on fire that night, man. I was on fire. You were.
I don't remember any of it, but you were on fire. So I was told.
The great one said that I was on fire that night. I actually said some stuff that I thought was all right. And then you went and deleted it. I was like, oh, dude.
I was not up to my standards. You were up to my standards. I was not up to my own standards, which are actually pretty high. I've deleted more than one podcast.
Have you?
Yeah, sober or drunk, where I'm just kind of like, man, I didn't like that. And then it doesn't take a lot for me to delete it. I've started some podcasts. Not that I'm a perfectionist, but it's just, it's just you're not in it. It's not in you. And you're like, you know what? This is going to be ass because I sound like ass, and I'll go for a run or I'll do something else because it's just not. You got to think of it this way. Okay, maybe it's 2 hours of your time, but if 1,000 people are listening to it, that's 20 or 2,000 hours of other people's time. And is this 2,000s of other people's time worth it? And it's like usually, no, it's it's not that good. Oh,
so what's this $75 question that you got?
Oh, let's get to that. Where is the here? All right, this one's kind of all over the place, and the way you could tell someone has put no structure or thought, or maybe thought but did not organize their thoughts, is it's one block of text.
Oh God,
no paragraphs, no anything. So here's a consultation request. Hello, Cappy. I like some consulting on college, after college relocation and work, life goals, and social life. I'm just going to dump each as loosely organized block below. This is why I charge so much, because if you're just going to vomit questions and not make them pointed, I now have to suss out the details.
Yeah.
I like your thoughts on pretty much everything future tense I mentioned. I'm all right with an email response, but if you think some or all of this advice would help others on a YouTube video is fine too. Maybe split it up between the two, whatever. Just keep me anonymous. Change some details as you deem fit. Asshole client privilege, yada, yada, yada. And then they also I appreciate them saying they want to be anonymous, but then, hey, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Then I'm going to tell you this. Then it's like, fuck, just tell me what it is. So, I mean, I bake in. It's a term that Chad Elkins came through. He goes, oh yeah, I bake it in. I bake it in. And it's like, so I bake it in. I'll send you the donation about the same time, midnight PST. I'm in part reading this so that anyone in the future who wants to save like $20 on Asshole Consulting can do this. Feel free to ask any supplementary questions, of course. I understand that this is rather long and that these are a lot of topics to cover. I'm not expecting it to be dirt cheap. I know your time is valuable. Thanks, Matt. So right there, that was like $15.
to get to that point.
I tried, Chad and I were talking about, like, he says, like, I just get so pissed off. I've started to train myself not to get pissed off. I just charge more. You know, it's the same minutes I lost of life, but I just charge more.
And also often, I mean, the reason that they're asking your advice is because if they could get their shit together in this way, they probably wouldn't be having to ask your advice.
Right. There's an element of pity or charity there. But at the same time, it's like, look, don't tell me after 13 years of school, you don't know how to write a succinct letter, you know? But well, it is, I punish because I love, I cause pain because I care. Right now, I'm attending community college to save money on all the lower division math I can get, as well as my general indoctrination while living with my parents at Californistan. I've completed all my remedial math, most of my general electives, and all the preparatory coursework to transfer to a UC 4-year institution with a major in actuarial science. I know remedial math and actuary usually don't go together, but I was just fucking around and staying home to play video games and watch anime in high school. I graduated with a pathetic 2.7 GPA. And that's California schools. That's like where they really dumb it down. I've had my IQ tested twice in school programs that came in at 132 in the 7th grade and 137 my freshman year in high school. Since starting college, I've easily maintained a 4.0 GPA by not being a lazy shitbird, and I'm planning on doing some simple volunteer work and take the actual first actuarial exam to beef up my transfer application despite my garbage high school performance. What's the mistake he's doing so far?
What's actuary science? I don't even know what that is.
That's basically a statistician for the insurance industry. Maybe it doesn't exist overseas. In the United States, it's a very reputable profession. You do the number crunching for predominantly insurance companies. Like, what are the chances of a hurricane hitting here? Therefore, what do we charge our premium? So there's a very direct tie to making money.
Do you approve of the because I'm unfamiliar with this. Do you approve of the course selection?
Very much so. Yes.
As regards to future earning potential.
Yes, I would. Okay. I would put this on par with a CPA, maybe even a little bit more. There's a lot of tests you got to take, but this is a very solid class or very solid skill set to learn with a very clear job at the end of it. So this is a very reputable. Okay. And it could be tailored. Like if you got the statistics and you pick up some computer programming, you could go into data science. So it's somewhat malleable of a degree as well.
Right. And he's doing community college because
it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. No. But am I right to understand, because he wrote it quite badly, is he doing community college so that he can then go on to another more reputable college?
Yes. In the United States, the marketing and the movies and everything go to the big, University of blank. And every state has a main campus. Like in Minnesota, it's University of Minnesota, Minneapolis.
So he's going to college to go to college.
He's going to college. Well, here's the thing. To make it cheaper, and I agree with this, the university systems across the country have come up with what's called community college, where you don't go to the main campus. You go to the local college campus, the satellite campus, where the buildings are not as nice. Maybe it's 2 or 3 buildings, and you just learn your basic, English composition, calculus, just your basic prerequisites. So the main university is not as taxed, and it's also cheaper. Usually you don't have to pay for parking, and people go there, they knock out their 2 years of prerequisites. Then those credits transfer to another main campus if you want to go on and get a 4-year degree. So usually the community colleges will offer a 2-year associate's program, of which all those credits will transfer to a 4-year degree. But you also then, because it's geared towards 2-year, you have your 2-year certifications like welding or sonography.
So this guy wants to do 6 years of college.
No. He's only doing 4 because those 2 years count at the community college. Yeah.
All right.
It's the smart thing. Only idiots go straight to the main campus because they want the party lifestyle and they want to go to the University of Los Angeles. Yeah.
Well, at this point, I'm going to be honest and say I haven't spotted the mistake.
The mistake is he's doing volunteer work. You don't have the time for that, kid. You're volunteer. You don't have time. You don't have to. There's no volunteer work. Don't do that. Take the first actuarial exam, beef up my transfer application despite my garbage high school performance. I know UC is overpriced, but so is out-of-state tuition, and transferring courses would be a bitch. So I've basically just resigned to accept a little bit of debt, which shouldn't take terribly long to pay off with smart budgeting. Dude, you live at home and you're in California where you guys, the state taxpayer so subsidizes your education in California. California is one of the cheaper places to get a college education. If you're going to the community college, it's even cheaper than that. I've pretty much pigeonholed myself with my course selection. My parents want me out, so fingers crossed they don't reject me for being a straight white male or something. I'm currently working part-time as a cashier and planning to start working full-time elsewhere in the spring. Any suggestions? As I said, you want to work security work or some kind of job that allows you to study. So overnight work, or, it's going to suck. Usually there are dedicated student jobs where like, oh yeah, you're the dormitory guy and you're just basically there at night to, let the mailman in or something like that. After transfer, I plan to work internships, hopefully paid, to get some bloody actuarial experience on my resume. After graduation, I'd like to get the fuck out of California for endless reasons. My original plan was to fuck off to Oregon because I thought everywhere but California, New York was real America. But I have since found out that this is far from the case. I would recommend getting this book.
Ah, yes. Reconnaissance Man.
Reconnaissance Man. This will tell you where to move. This will tell you where to go. It'll tell you how to check out those places. So you don't just move there and say, God, Aaron said this was a great place, but it sucks for me. This is more important, I say, than some of your introductory courses in college right now. I began with whittling down a list of cities with a good deal of actuarial positions and decent pay for them by my criteria for cheaper fiber optic internet, low cost of living and taxes, libertarian population, few natural disasters. Don't worry about the natural disasters. We've built up defense to natural disasters. Local pine forest and cold weather. You can see where this is going. 404 Paradise not found. So I'm settling on one of these: Las Vegas, Boise, Phoenix, Dallas, or Austin. I would avoid Austin because that is a leftist shithole. But once again, at his age, no matter where he goes, it's going to be a leftist shithole. So Boise. I know. Boise, Idaho. It's not a great town. I've been there. You think it's going to be in Idaho and in the mountains? It's on the high plains, and the mountains are off in the background, and it's kind of, there's nothing really there.
Right.
There's a river. There's a downtown area, but I was highly unimpressed with Boise. Fargo, North Dakota had more character than Boise. Boise, I don't know what. They just, let's build a city here. Okay, Jebediah was talking to Nebuchadnezzar and like, hey, let's grow our beards here. This is a good land.
So far he's just studying, and then he's trying to work out where he's going to go after his studies.
Right.
I kind of see I don't know. I understand why you'd be contemplating that now, but I don't understand why you'd be obsessing over it, because a lot's going to happen in 2 or 3 years. And you don't know who you're going to meet and what opportunities you get and what those internships are going to point you to and rah, 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 rah. I mean, so far it's like he's trying to map it all out, and it's just not the way it works.
No. I mean, get your degree, get to that decision node, and then a lot of it's going to determine, like, where do you get a job offer?
Exactly. And the thing is, if you try and map everything out, what you do is you restrict yourself to what you know. And what I did, which is, I wrote about in my first book, is just put myself out there and see what happens.
You truly did not restrict yourself. I mean, that was you just like, world, I'm here. Let's go.
Let's go. And stuff comes up that's out of the box. If you at the moment, if you're obsessing of, I'm going to plan everything out, well, you will plan everything out, and your life will be everything that you can think of right now and your experiences now. You'll restrict yourself to that. And so I'm not saying don't plan. What I'm saying is try not to be so obsessive about it at the moment. I think it's a step too far myself.
Yeah, it's good to check out places in the long run. Like inevitably, I'd like to be here, but I don't think even to this day I'm not where I want to live. I mean, I got property and I go visit, but life doesn't work that way.
No.
You know, and so I would say, yeah, it's good to have these places marked out over the next 10 years time. Go visit them and check them out. But I think go to school, in-state tuition, live at home, work your job. Great program, by the way. Smart going to community college first, and you finish off your remaining 2 years at the main campus. But then I'd be sending out resumes, and I would, especially at your younger age, when you're not making the most that you are, taxes are a little less important. Traffic, that's a pain in the ass. I'll grant you that. But, you know, if you got a job offer in Chicago for your first job, I wouldn't necessarily be against it. Or Connecticut, a lot of insurance and hedge funds out there. You probably end up, or is it Jersey? Someplace has a lot of insurance companies. So, I mean, go there, cut your teeth. But then all of a sudden, if it's like, oh, we'd like you to, you know, we'd like to pay you $250,000, but we'd like you to live in New York and you're 30, like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to live in New York. I'm going to go to Las Vegas. I'm going to go to Phoenix or whatever. Then you can get a little bit more choosy. But Adam's right. Do not put the horse blinders on and then restrict yourself. Like, I'm going to be an actuary at 28 in this town and this street. My girlfriend will be 5'5". She'll have big tits and she'll like the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, it just have a plan, but also be flexible and adaptable.
Yeah.
All right. I don't really have the time or resources to play Reconnaissance Man. I have not actually read the book yet, so your input on those cities and other places to consider would be great. I think Vegas, Dallas, Texas, and Phoenix, yeah, those are all good places. I wouldn't do Boise. I just don't see it. Honestly, I'd rather just live in Panhandle, Idaho, or Portland or Seattle, but the former lacks basically all amenities as well as actuary jobs, and the later would only be tolerable if every leftist suddenly realized the error of their ways and or committed suicide. I would strongly recommend visiting Portland or Seattle with a car, drive in their traffic, and that will cure you immediately of wanting to live in those. And then just who's the hairiest actor? Do we know who's like the hairiest guy?
Wasn't that Robin Williams?
Maybe Robin. Even hairy. I'm thinking like a Greek actor or some just a ball of hair.
A ball of hair.
A ball of hair.
I'd tell you what, Robin Williams was pretty close to a
pretty
ball
hairy.
Of hair. Did you ever see Robin Williams with his shirt off? Holy crap.
Okay. Well, let's just go with Robin Williams. So to the client, what you're going to find out when you go to Portland and Seattle is all the women look like Robin Williams. They're hairy, they're disgusting, they're ugly. As a young man, even if you are very couth and wise for your years, I know you're going to want to get laid and have sex with preferably pretty girls. They do not exist in the Pacific Northwest. There are no pretty girls out there. I mean, God almighty, just look at Portland millennials. Everybody do an image search of Portland millennials, and you tell me if anyone you'd bang shows up in those pictures. I mean, it's just...
I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of dreadlocks.
That's kind of old hat. Now it's just dreadlocks take effort.
Yeah, it's just purple hair that's shaved on one side, isn't it?
It's just, oh God. I purposely avoided Portland when I did a motorcycle ride in the Pacific Northwest. Because I did not want to deal with getting angry at all the ugly people I saw. I didn't want to deal with the traffic. And I did not want to run the chance of getting like tetanus or tuberculosis or whatever third world diseases they've recreated in that place. I have had no desire to go there.
I asked the Great One a question on the podcast we did on Sunday, and he couldn't answer it. Hotness of girls in Louisiana, where I'm going. He told me they were all fat, and that kind of got me down.
The South tends to be that way. Now, are you going to New Orleans or where are you going?
It's close to New Iberia.
Good Christ, I don't know where that is. Like,
I think it's about 50 miles from New Orleans, heading west from New Orleans.
West. Well, you got to be close to the coast, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing offshore, okay, all right. So you're near the coast. I hate to say it, I think the Great One is right. That the southern, you're still in the proper South there, and it is going to be obese. Well, you know what? let's look obesity rates by state.
Oh my God, you can do that.
Yes, you can. Remember the old days when we had to go to the library and look at microfiche? These kids nowadays, I had to look something up on the internet. Yeah, Louisiana is squarely one of the obesity rates. Oh, it's even on this map. They're even. Oh, here we got numbers. We got numbers. All right. Hang on.
It'd be nice if there was a hotness rate instead of just an obesity rate where you go straight to the hotness rate.
Here we go. West Virginia wins at 35.7 obesity rate. Percent of the population is obese.
Holy fuck.
Yep, 35.7. Second place is Arkansas with 35.9. Mississippi, 35.5. And coming in at fourth place is Louisiana at 34.9. So over 1/3 of the population is obese. Contrast to Colorado, which I knew was going to be this. Colorado has the lowest obesity rate at 21.3 because Colorado is the most funnest state ever.
Gee, 21.3 is still pretty high though, isn't it?
Well, but Americans fucking suck. They're just, I mean, I know everyone's like, rah, rah, America, good stuff. It's like, this is not the World War II generation country that you watched on the TV show. There's a bunch of fat, dumbass, conformist fucks. I really have a hard time cheering on a country when I look around. It's nothing but a bunch of ugly people. I really do that. I've said it before, but everyone should do it again. Just go out and look around and don't look for the pretty people, which is what your eyes are going to naturally gravitate towards. Look at everybody. Just assess everyone, and you're going to realize just what a fat, ugly society we live in. And it's kind of hard to like, yeah, let's go to war, boys. Let's go help out Gertrude and her 250-pound ass. I can't wait to tap that when I come back from war.
Oh dear. Okay, good. All right, little segue there, but thanks for that. That's
so don't get excited.
No, I'm not gonna.
If you go to New Orleans or Baton Rouge, I'm sure there's going to be some. There's a nice cigar lounge in Baton Rouge. I did.
Is it?
That. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there is.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm hoping the Aussie accent still works.
Oh, dude, you'll definitely. Yeah, I got a gal. If you want to drive out to San Antonio, she likes white guys. Pretty good looking gal. But that's a hike. But we'll worry about that later. All right, where'd we go? Yeah. I don't really have any life goals in life. Yeah, I'm going to be an actuary to get the money to live without being a meager wage slave. But what then? I have no hobbies, and all I really want to do is play my games and watch my Japanese cartoon. That's not really a way to live, is it? I sometimes have passing interests in things like guns, hiking, piano, blacksmithing, and other hobbyist shit like that, but they go as soon as they come. I figure I'll end up with a nice bit of money after a while, unless I devolve into an idiot and decide to take my paycheck straight to the strip, which would be quite ironic for actuary of all people. Do I just retire and return to my gap year hedonism, blow it on these passing interests like an anvil and forge, or an anti-material rifle, or some old TVs? Try to become some hotshot investor in finance, Libre consumer tech, or indie media that interests me and could be profitable. After asking old Cappy for his opinion, of course, I don't really even want a home because A, I don't bloody well know where I'd put it, and B, government fucking shits with their fucking codes would force me to make it something that really doesn't appeal to me. God, this guy really wants everything planned out tomorrow, doesn't he? Yeah. Did I mention taxes piss me the fuck off? How you don't even pay taxes, for God's sake. I know I need to read Enjoy the Decline, but I don't think I could enjoy it even with your insight. All right. In part, the reason you are skittish or you can't focus on one thing is because you have a high IQ. You'll bore entire things easily. But right now you got to take one thing at a time, like getting your degree. I'm also going to claim you're a pussy because I don't see you working out here anywhere. You do not play your video games and watch Japanese animation cartoons. That's not your two. If those are your two main interests, it means you haven't gotten out. You're somewhat afraid and cowardly of talking to women. You're somewhat afraid and cowardly of talking to people, and you need to get out. And if you don't start interacting with humans, you are going to, you're going to be a hermit, which maybe is fine, but I'll give a hermit credit if he's gone out into the world, tried to be social, and found out that most people are assholes and becomes a hermit because there's no one he'd rather hang out with than either him and his books or his intellectual thoughts. That's a very rare person. You're the standard millennial Gen Z fuck. Your parents didn't push you far enough. You're playing video games, jerking off the porn, watching your Japanese animus. And you get into a little bit. No, you need to stick with a hobby to the point that you could become proficient at it, and there's actually some kind of return on investment. You're talking about taking your paycheck to the strip club. The fuck you are. And right now, you're also a little bit scatterbrained. Just focus on one thing and try and master it. So you can focus on your studies, get your degree. That's where most of your efforts should be going. Then I'd focus on work, and then I would choose one hobby and master it. I don't care if it's ballroom dancing. I don't care if it's jujitsu. I don't care if it's lacrosse. There's a cowardice and a fear. I'd even say a laziness. And you do have embedded laziness because you admit you didn't try your best in high school. You're just not putting in the effort. That's what it basically boils down to. Adam, you got nicer things to say or no?
Yeah. If I look at the men I know who are successful, what makes them stand out is that they're interested in life. They're interested in everything that life has to offer. He mentioned some stuff like, you know, hunting and whatever it is. Yeah, and they're not just interested. They don't just become proficient. They become masterful at as many different things as they can, like Scotch whiskey or smoking cigars or whatever the case may be. Learning how to cook, doing everything, being interested in life. If I look at all the really successful people I know, successful men I know, they're genuinely interested in life. And if you're just sitting at home and playing video games and watching Japanese anime, porn, whatever the case may be, and you're studying 4 years because you just want to be able to, you know, have money in the, you know, have bank, well, it doesn't really sound like you're interested in life. And honestly, I predict in your future some great traumatic event. That's what I predict for you. Something that's going to slap you around big time and maybe force you to become interested in life, since you don't seem like you're doing it yourself. You do have enough interest in life to pay $75 to Cappy to try and tell you what you need to do. But it's a pretty far cry from what's the reason that you get out of bed in the morning. So, and by the way, being interested in life, you don't have to run around like a crazy person. I mean, I know how to do lots and lots of stuff, and I have done lots and lots of stuff, but I actually consider myself to be a bit of an underachiever and a bit lazy at times. It's just a little bit every day. You've got to get interested in life. I think that's what it really boils down to. And if you don't do it, like I said, there'll be a big traumatic event that'll happen to throw you out of this lethargy that you seem to be, this malaise that you seem to be wondering. And it sounds like you got 138 IQ, you're a white guy, you know, you haven't got any hang-ups, you sound healthy. Sounds like you won life's lottery as well, buddy. What are you going to do with it?
Well, I was going to also ask, what are you going to do with $120,000 salary as an actuary? I mean, why, if all you want to do is watch cartoons and play your video games, well, shit, you could go work as a security guard and get paid to do that. Like now the internet, you can just watch it on the TV and you don't even have to work. You don't have to go to actual. I mean, if this is what you wanted to do, but if you maybe wanted to get your dick wet, or you maybe wanted to try your shot at having kids, or maybe you want to go on motorcycle or hike or explore all the many things that the world has to offer, well, okay, then you're gonna have to get off your ass. But I mean, if this is it, you know, you're not, I don't know. I was like, well, why even go be an actuary? That's hard work. Who knows? Maybe being an actuary, maybe his career is what would inspire him, and that's what gets him off his ass.
It's interesting when you actually compare this question to the question before. So the question before was asking, you know, how can we stop men from becoming soft? And then the very next question we've got,
I want to be soft.
I want to be soft.
Well, I mean, kid, you're gonna die. Okay, just fight. And for the sake, I would say, just choose something and master it. even if you don't like it or if it's not your cup of tea. What I find is all these guys like this idea of passion. Usually it's for women. They're like, I have to be passionate about it. It's like, dude,
you're not supposed to like your job.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about passionate for job, but they think everything has to be like, you know, the dial goes up to 10. They want it at 11. They just got to be so fucking passionate. It's like some of the best desserts I've had have not been pure candy like sugar. They've been subdued like a tiramisu where there's plenty of sugar in it, but it's not eating crack candy, you know, or there's what's the other thing? Like a creme brulee where, yeah, it's a dessert, but it's a subtle dessert. And sometimes it doesn't always have to be, I have to be passionate. Sometimes it's just like smoking a cigar is not this exciting experience. It is a calming, relaxing thing. Listening to symphonic music, which I don't like, but some people, or jazz would be a better example because I do like jazz. It's not meant to be this wild, crazy roller coaster time. Sometimes it's just something that you take in. And so I know everyone's looking for like this thing they got to be passionate about. They got to charge it with 110%. No, why don't you just find something you like to do and do that and keep doing it until like you either are a master of scotches. You are, well, he's not old enough to be a master of scotches, but you start to, heck, even martial arts, not the fighting kind, but more of the meditative kind. Why don't you go and master it? And then you'll start to appreciate some of the subtler notes and floral notes and tones of life.
You said floral notes on
floral notes. You can't go through life without those floral notes.
Those
man.
Floral IPA notes. And by the way, we're not counting mastery of video games in this.
No.
Just so you know.
Your knowledge of the robot show starring Japanese character X, that is not, God almighty, most anime sucks. I don't know how kids can get into that. I mean, and I watch it, but I'm very finicky because most of it sucks. Most of it just sucks.
I've got to say, I'm complete. I mean, I know what it is, but I've never sat down and.
Here's something you want if you're looking for something new to start. Talking about giving something enough of a time and investing enough time into it to appreciate it. Start watching Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop. You plugged this about a year ago.
I plug it all the time.
And I went and had a look, and it's just not my cup of tea.
How many episodes did you give it?
Oh, I don't know, one.
Okay, so like this guy, I showed up at ballroom dancing, and I sucked. Fuck it, man, I'm done. Okay, all right. If you and this guy want to commiserate and miss out on the greatest things in the world, that's fine.
Wow.
So like when you say you were a raft guide, a whitewater raft guide, did you go down it once or something? Was that it? Or did you maybe go down it twice? Like, oh, that sucks. I'm getting wet, man. Watch. Okay, here's what I'm gonna bet you. Okay, here's what I'm gonna bet you, and we'll have a gentleman's agreement.
Okay.
I will have to mail you the money or PayPal you the money to get cigars because apparently I can't just mail you cigars. The Holland authorities confiscates them, whatever.
Yeah.
A good cigar bet. I'm gonna bet you have to watch Cowboy Bebop again. And you have to get to the episode where they meet the dog. Okay?
All right. I'm writing it down.
I think it's 4 episodes in, and they get to the dog. My bet is after you watch the episode with the dog in order, you will not be able to stop watching it. You will say, I want to watch the rest of it. You'll be invested, and you will want to watch it.
I give you my word over the next couple of weeks that I will find the time to do that, and I'll let you know either way.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I give it more.
All right, it continues on here. I don't think I really want a girlfriend or wife either. I have no interest in
what? There's more?
Yeah, no, that's the reason I charged a lot. I don't think I really want a girlfriend or wife either. That's because you're jerking off to animal porn. Yeah. I have no interest in breeding due to shit genes, diabetics, celiac, and ugly. I'm incredibly awkward. I had no real social interaction for the past 5 years, unless you count my cashier or courty horseshit. See, didn't I know he was? Didn't I know?
Yeah, maybe he didn't win the live lottery.
I even dropped most of my internet friends, so I stopped playing games due to my parents' rural ISP being bought out by Comcast fucking shits who made it unusable. Look how sad your life is that you are dependent upon your internet service provider. What your social life is dependent on what kind of bandwidth your internet has.
That's so generation now, isn't it?
It is. It's like zero world problems. I don't know if I genuinely dislike people or my brain has just OD'd on isolation, anime, and porn. God, see, you understand I only skim these because I don't have time to read through all of them. I kind of read through them quickly and then I price them.
Yeah.
And so it does remain a natural response, like an original response. And I knew he just look, kid, stop being a pathetic, dopey fuck. Stop being a loser. And don't act like you don't know. I don't know. Shut the fuck. This is why it's all laziness. This is laziness. He doesn't want to go out because he's a scaredy cat and he's a coward. That's what it boils down to. He doesn't want to go out and be social because it's going to take effort.
So he didn't do well at school because he was lazy. He's doing
well now. He's got a 4.0.
Fine. So, but he learned the lesson from high school, and now he's applying himself in college, and he's succeeding.
Yes.
But in the rest of his life, he's not doing the same application that he's doing with his college, and thus he's not seeing the same results. So the answer is quite simple, kind of staring him in the face.
And the cause is the same. Why did he get a low GPA? Because he was dumb?
No.
Why did he get a low GPA in high school?
He was lazy fuck.
Because he's a lazy fuck. Why does he have no social life?
Lazy fuck.
He's a lazy fuck. That's it. There you go. I just saved you $10,000 of therapy that still wouldn't have solved your problems. Mm-hmm. Those guys are all and porn, but I have not met anyone even remotely tolerable since high school in Dungeons and Dragons. Those guys are all long gone because I took two gap years to be closer to my parents' dime and find myself. He tries to find himself by living at home.
He didn't
fuck you pussy.
He didn't say find himself, did he?
He did say find himself, but he did put a trademark symbol.
All right, okay, dude. Women find themselves. Men make themselves. Okay? That is the golden rule. That is the golden rule. Women find themselves, men make themselves. And you only make yourself by getting out the front door. Jesus.
How do you find yourself living at home on your parents' dime, watching cartoons and porn and playing video games? Where do you find yourself?
On the wrong ISP.
With a bad ISP.
With a bad ISP that you have to complain about.
Oh, sorry for the info dump. My question is pretty much as above. What to do? I kind of want to close myself up and buy an anime body pillow. Honest to God, I'm not making this up, Adam. I'm not making this. He wants to buy an anime body pillow.
I don't know what an anime body pillow is, but I've got.
You don't know what these are?
Is it like the old version of an inflatable woman?
It's like that, yeah. Except it's worse. It's for cuddling. It's really? Look it up. Look it up. You got the internet.
For cuddling.
How good your ISP?
I suppose you want cuddling if you're finding yourself, don't you?
Look up. Well, I guess. You got the Google over there in Europe, right?
No, we're getting electricity next week.
Good. That Marshall Plan finally paid off.
Yeah. What was it? Anime body pillow. Was it?
Anime body pillow. Yeah. Let's look at this. Oh my God! Jesus Christ!
Oh my Lord! Oh my Lord!
Oh, and you wonder why I have a hard time fighting for this country. You wonder why I enjoy the decline. By the way, here's a book, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the decline. You still think there's hope? Fuck you. Get that book.
Wow. I feel sad looking at this. Okay. So he wants to get a. Has he stated his question yet? Or are we still?
No, this is the vomitous thing. He just barfed this all up. I mean, he's got the questions. He did provide some organization. I mean, he's going through it. Career first, something second, and now fucking a pillow third. I kind of want to close myself up and buy an anime body pillow, but something inside of me says this is a poor decision, just like a return to the gap year lifestyle. I think it's sort of tied into not having a real hobby as well. You think? Maybe? If not, you could just tell me to get a therapist on this one if you want.
No.
Here's the problem with therapists. They're good. They quite literally are. This is why asshole consulting is better than most therapy. Now, if you actually have a mental illness, there's nothing I can do. Then you got to go talk to a therapist. But this touchy-feely bullshit where you don't have a mental illness, you're just a lazy, no good fuck, you're going to spend at least $10,000 in a year going into some person who's probably just as fucked up as you are, who happens to have a master's degree in psychology. She or he is going to resort to dubious theories at best, and they're not going to have the balls to tell you, listen, you no good lazy fuck, stop being a self-pitying asshole, go hit the gym, go work out, find yourself a real girl, get shot down, embrace the rejection, embrace the suck, stop being a coward. I mean, that sentence, that paragraph alone, that advice I just said in 20 seconds, is more valuable than years of standard therapy because they don't tell you the truth. This is why asshole consulting is superior. It's a fraction of the cost.
They don't tell you the truth because then they wouldn't get their $10,000, would they?
Right. And they don't, I will also contend they don't have the balls to be truthful with you. They just don't.
They're not going to make any money off you if they're truthful.
Oh,
so, you know what I mean? If you walk in and go, I mean, all right, you told him the truth. You got $75. They lie. They get 10 grand.
Well, yeah, but that's amortized. Here's the problem. These therapists have to do that for hours of their own time, listening to some sap like this. So I had a conversation with
have you seen the suicide rate?
Who's Amina? She's my Japanese animation pillow that I named. We have great conversations at night. Is Amina your friend? Yes, she. Like, fucking hell, who's got time for that shit?
Do you have her in the car? Would you like to bring her up? We can meet.
God, could you see a therapist? This guy brings in his God Almighty, that's probably happened.
It's like Linus with his pillow or blanket. Remember Linus from Peanuts?
Yeah, but with a lot of acid thrown into this situation there. That's.
I think we've answered his question quite well. He's got some real love here.
He's got plenty to work on. I'll finish it off for the last couple sentences. I think it's sort of tied to not having a real hobby as well. I wouldn't want to be my friend or girlfriend. I'm boring as fuck. Do you have a book on this? No, I don't. I really don't. Because it's called, I don't know, maybe Bachelor Pad Economics, but I don't deal with people that don't like themselves enough to, oh, no one would like to be my friend. Yep, you're right. Move on. I don't care. You either keep living this shitty ass life for the next 60 years and then you die, or maybe you wake the fuck up and change shit. If not, you can just tell me to get a therapist on this one if you want. I doubt anyone who is a big enough normal lip shit to be a therapist would get me through. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, your therapists are going to be, I wouldn't say as flawed as you, but there's certainly, I don't think I've ever met one sane psychologist. Not one. I've never met a sane HR gal. I've never met a sane psychologist or therapist.
I just add to his thing there at the end. You're going to get friends or girlfriends when you have something to offer, when you're interesting. So you need to go and make yourself interesting. And you don't make yourself interesting to get friends. You make yourself interesting because you want to be interesting, because you want to be interested in the world. And then as a result of that, hey, presto, people want to hang out with you.
It's basically, it's an issue of what is your core going to be. If your core is going to be replacing it with other people, like I need a girlfriend, I need friends, I need anime, I need that, you have no core. Because it's not you. And you are therefore a worthless, valueless person because you are deriving your value from things that aren't you. Whereas honest to God, you know what book he should read about developing a core?
Pushing Rubber Downhill.
Pushing Rubber Downhill. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to promote your book. I'm saying because it's very appropriate. That's the book I would read, Pushing Rubber Downhill, because it's all about how you, a young man, when we all start blank slate, we're all nothing. We're all nobodies at 18.
Yeah,
how you developed a core, and it is you. I mean, when someone asked me about Adam Piggott, I'm like, well, he's the most Adam Piggottest guy you're ever going to meet. There's nobody more Adam Piggotty than Adam Piggott. But this guy, what's he like? He's just like any other guy that sleeps with anime pillows and is addicted to porn, like the millions of other Gen Z millennial types. It's unnotable. It's that you will be awash with the commoners and largely forgotten. Adam Piggott, and I'm not saying Adam Piggott, who's talking to us right now, but Adam Piggott, the man, is an entity that is easily identifiable and unique and stands out because of all the adventures, setting up a nightclub in Switzerland, skiing, whitewater rafting, going to Africa.
And the same with you, Aaron. I mean, fucking hell, look at all the stuff you've done and all the the work you've produced. And you're still a young man. I mean, it's all based on having a passion for life. Mm-hmm. This guy just sounds passionless. What does he eat for dinner? Does he even enjoy, food? Or does he just shovel it in because he's got to have fuel?
It's what it boils down to is that I'm going to write a book one of these days about laziness, because that's what it is. It's not that you have this disease or that. Look, you're just lazy. That's what it always. Why are people not doing the logical thing? Because they're lazy. Period. End of discussion. I almost guarantee you that's the answer of every problem. Somebody was lazy. Why did this computer program not work? Because Fallout 76 was rolled out because the hackers and the programmers were lazy. Why did this not work? Why is this not going? Because somebody was lazy, and usually it's yourself. Why did Pearl Harbor get bombed? Because the Germans were lazy. Because the Germans. Was that a joke? I had never heard that. Is that actual joke? Because the Germans were lazy.
That's Animal House. Animal House.
Speaking of someone who also stands out as a lazy, no good fuck, Chad Elkins in the chat room. Should I quit my CPA career to become a teacher?
Oh God, no.
Chad. He's joking. He's not.
Yeah. Please don't do that. That's terrible.
It's the last thing.
Hey, before I go, because I unfortunately do have to go. I'd love to stay another hour and do this. I'm enjoying it, but I've got to get up in 7 hours. Okay. I got a joke of the week. Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear the joke. Hold it. Is this going to be something that's going to get me in trouble with the Google Nazis?
No.
Okay.
Not this time. I know that's the real reason you deleted the video.
No, I had to delete. I've deleted more than one video because some people like the bleep and bleeps, so we got to get the bleep and bleeps. Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy. It's like, fuck. There went 2 hours of work.
Down the drain. So older gentleman, widowed, has been seeing a woman his old age, also widowed. And, they've been keeping it very, very on the down low, but the kids have found out and they're pressurizing the older couple to make it official, tie the knot. So the older gentleman decides to take the older lady out to a fine dining restaurant where they discuss the practicalities of the possible impending nuptials, right? So they talk about, the logistics, financial matters, which house, all the rest. But always as the night goes on and they're talking about everything, itching away in the back of his brain is, of course, the question that he's a bit scared to ask, and that's concerning the what would happen in the bedroom, the boudoir, as such. So finally, he broaches the subject, and he asks of the lady what would be her requirements, her expectations as regards the sexual act. And the lady responds that she would like it infrequently. And the gentleman paused for a moment and said, just to be clear, was that one word or two?
That's good. Oh, we could go on. Hey, have you read Rush's new book by chance? I know you probably don't need it.
The one that's continually banned by Amazon.
Right.
Ban 1 week, ban the not, ban 1 week. What's it called?
It's called Game. It's just straight called Game. You could buy it at his site, audio and paperback and all that.
I haven't read any of Rush's books, to be honest with you.
I don't think you need it, but because I think you and I did quite well when we were in our dating days. But going through it, I'm going through it. I'm going to review it, and I like to have Rush on because it pisses me off what Amazon did. And I also want to see what did they write that it got him banned. And so far, there's been nothing even controversial.
To
approach it getting banned. But having been out, What's that?
Is it pretty standard red pill?
Standard, yeah. And I think what he did is he wanted to write it as a standalone book because I thought it would build upon his previous works. But I think he's like, well, wait, if some kid picks this up for the first time. So a lot of it is repeat or stuff that you could kind of skip over. Again, it's not going to be a terrible use to you or me. Like I've read it for other reasons.
But good solid baseline stuff if someone needs to learn this stuff from scratch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I still like his book, Dead Bat in Paraguay and Daybang. I think those are maybe even a little bit too clinical, but in either case, yes, it's a standalone book. A rookie kid can pick it up, start reading through it, and some great advice and some hand holding in there and some pretty clever tactics and strategies. But I'm not even a third through it. Maybe I'm a third through it. And already I'm exhausted listening to it because it's reminding me of all the shit I had to do and how much effort and time and energy men put into just wooing and convincing women. And when
Aaron,
he gets, yeah.
Aaron, have you any idea how depressing it is right now that I'm single?
Oh God. I mean, how much time you got? I would love to hear it.
Any idea? I mean, I used to joke that, oh my God, thank God I'm married, so I never have to ever go back into the dating market ever again. And now it's just dropped on my head like a brick. So if you're saying that, I'm just sitting here going, yep. Yep. And how fat were the bitches in Louisiana?
Oh man. Oh God.
Yep.
When you're young, your horniness, your hormones blind you to the assail and assault that you're putting yourself through. You just don't see it and you're even having fun. And I'm reading through all this, or listening actually. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that. I'm like, oh yeah, you got to worry about it. Oh yeah, and then I'm like, first question I'm gonna ask Roosh is like, dude, is it even fucking worth it? I mean, my fucking God, what the fuck? Like, no way. And now I can only imagine. I mean, are you even dating?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's only been 6 or 7 weeks, and I'm not even. It's funny because I've had women have found out that I'm nearly single, and maybe it's like the recently divorced guy, wife's walked out on him sort of thing is a thing. I didn't know that, but I'm just ignoring all. I'm just completely uninterested in it, Aaron. It's.
Well, that's what I was asking, but I mean, if you're not dating,
but I know down the line that this is what's waiting for me. Like
Christ.
Exactly.
It's just I keep saying, like, if for whatever reason the GF goes away, death, she leaves me, I leave her. I'm not going back. I'm not.
I'm right there now, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking because my wife was like, "Oh, you'll find someone else," and rah, 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 and I'm looking and going, "You don't get it. No, I'm not. I'm not."
My life, my core is too damn that's the other thing is opportunity cost. You're 18, you got nothing else. Well, shit. Yeah. Now it's like, no, I got some really nice cigars. I got some rides I haven't driven. I got some mountains I haven't climbed. I got some courses I haven't golfed. I got some games I haven't played. I got other shit to do, but it's even worse than I thought, or it's gotten worse because I'm just listening. Roosh addresses this, how social media and smartphones have just escalated the amount of effort and game, because now the competition is global and you're competing against the top 10% of men globally and those that put up a false front that will make it look. And you're just kind of like, no, my life is too short to deal with that. But it's a depressing book, practical as it is.
Yeah, I think for me the big I mean, you've got your obvious red flags like tattoos and and stuff like that. But the biggest red flag for me, one of the biggest ones, obviously, is the smartphone. If they're a smartphone girl, it's just, which basically means anyone under the age of 70.
Oh God, no, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I was out of it when flip phones were the thing. I retired, and now if I mean,
so did I.
I'd hate to sound like the old guy, like you're not bringing your smartphone. I mean, you almost would have to become this dictatorial old man, like you're not bringing your phone. No, you're not putting it away.
I really think
bringing your phone.
The only way to do it is to get an 18-year-old and mold her into exactly what you want and be a dictatorial prick.
Yep.
And do it for both of yours own good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that's really, you know, the only feasible way in the current dating climate that we have. It's just completely unworkable. So
would you want to invest that time? I mean, you got to fucking babysit and train a fucking kid. It's like, yeah. You know what? That second scotch looks really tempting right now. That's going to be a lot less pain. So, all right. Well, listen, I'll let you go. Thank you very much for your time, Adam. I appreciate it. Where can people find you and tell them about your books?
You can get it pushingrubberdownhill.com. Check out my books there. I'm working on 2 new books at the moment simultaneously since I've got the time now.
Yep. Good to see you posting again. Glad you guys came out with that podcast as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. And by the way, how did I go? Because on the job interview.
Oh, great. No, it was wonderful. It's really hard to fuck up asshole consulting. Because about the only way you fuck up asshole consulting is where you're nice and kind and well, you see, no,
of course, it's in the name, isn't it?
It's in the name. Yeah, like name. I've actually got people like, I didn't like your so you're kind of mean. I demand a refund. I'm like, fuck you. What don't you understand about the word asshole consulting? That's all right.
Let me know. Have a listen to when it comes out on Sunday. I'll be interested in your thoughts on what we think your 12 rules for life actually are.
I'm going to have to do that. God damn it. Now I got to write a post and all this other crap. Yeah. I'll add it to my to-do list. So
it doesn't come out for 4 or 5 days. So, you know, you'll be,
that's fine. I got to binge through Rush's book anyway, and then put that together. So, all right. Well, thanks for being on the show, Adam.
All right, man. You be good.
I will see you. And then one final thing with everybody. Darius donates $2. I had 3 dates this year, but fun, but nowhere. That is modern day dating. Anyway, check out the Older Brother podcast. Go to olderbrother.com. Go to assholeconsulting.com if you got questions and answers needed, as long as you got money. Check out the books. All the links will be down in the description below, but you can always click on Amazon.com and search Aaron Clarey. And then all the other shit will be in the links there. We'll see you guys all later. Toodles.